take your own jersey, just like your heroes. Get your nickname on there, personally branded. And they're even doing some with signatures, Luke. Have you been asked for any signatures yet?
A couple in the, you know, in the hotel, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, and
that's the bar bill, though, Luke. That does not count. I appreciate you. I appreciate you paying for it.
It was a big bill. We've got to admit that much. But yeah, no, not quite yet. I'm not the stars here. We've got so many that are fighting, especially in this Tipsport Gamechanger, and the signature that you want to get or that you need to get is, for me, is going to be a Serb that won last year's.
Bojan Velickovic.
There it is, Bojan Velickovic. What an incredible story that he had in our last tournament. And the pressure's on the Serbian fighters this year, see if they can keep it up.
We've seen that. We already saw, again, Bogdanovic will compete later on today against Nefeni Nafuka. But he was saying yesterday, even in the press conference, there is pressure with that, Luke. And I didn't even consider that. You know, we saw the swell of support from Greece for Michaelides. We saw the same from Serbia for Bojan Velickovic. That weight has now been put on Bogdanovic's shoulders, right? That's a hell of a lot to carry.
Carrying a full nation, you know, and that's what I like about these countries. They really do. They come together and they represent, and they put it on the line, and they carry their flag extremely proudly and highly. So it really is, the pressure is going to be on for him because it was such an incredible tournament last year. And Bojan had some, I think every fight he had, there was a moment in every single tournament. It could have gone either way. For me, the Christian Youngworth fight, I'll remember forever Christian Youngworth clinging onto the wrists of Bojan as he tried to choke him unconscious and somehow escaping that vice grip. So it was just moment after moment after moment.
We should talk as well about what should be coming next. So we should have Rushi Rochal, obviously very well known in the Czech Republic, stepping in the cage against the debutant in Luke Neal. Now Luke, just hours before the event, came to the promotion and was not well, seriously not in a condition to be able to compete. Obviously, we would have loved to see that fight. I think that was an absolute monster of a fight, a sneaker on this card because of the styles and bringing them together. But, you know, he really was not well, Luke, and it's, you know, you got to make the call. He wants to fight, probably, but you can't go against your body and risk, you know. We're not playing chess in there, are we?
Exactly. I mean, that fight was a real hidden gem on this card, especially with all the Tipsport Gamechanger action going on, the title in the main event. That fight was going to be fireworks. I'm sure it will be rematched and remade. Unfortunate circumstances, losing that one. And the circumstances were unfortunate as well for Akon, that had to drop out performing tonight, but we will see that again.
Yeah, April 20th, that will now be what I believe is the main event of that OKTAGON 56 card. That is an incredible fight. What a story behind it now as well. Against Cyril Siraj, not punished for what happened. They recognize he was not even in the vicinity of the area when it escalated to what it did, which meant that the fight has unfortunately come off of this card. But what was great to see was what OKTAGON did around that fight. They made sure that everything was in the favor of making sure both fighters got to compete on their journey. But now, let's look back at what last year gave us in the Tipsport Gamechanger. Bright new talents hungry to finish their opponents will open the OKTAGON 50. It was an idea that has turned into one of the most beautiful and one of the most significant tournaments that we've ever had in OKTAGON.
What OKTAGON have done in this sport is nothing short of phenomenal. When I first heard about the Tipsport Gamechanger, I was blown away.
It broke past the anticipation. It just broke through everything that we could imagine.
Měl jsem musí kůži a opravdu jsem cítil, že jdeme správnou cestou, že jsme se s OKTAGONem rozhodli dobře. In the world of MMA, in Europe, nobody ever paid 1 million euros in any tournament. Projekt Tipsport Gamechanger vznikl vlastně takovým jednoduchým nápadem, že chceme, aby bylo jednoznačně vidět, že Tipsport a OKTAGON patří k sobě.
Byl to Tipsport, který řekl, pojďme rozšířit tuhletu spolupráci o něco, co svět ještě neviděl. Vymyslete nějakou zábavu a my dodáme palivo. A je z toho Tipsport Gamechanger, který nám teď závidí po celém světě.
There are too many special moments in this tournament. From the opening event, OKTAGON 40,
where it was just electric. The atmosphere, the fights. The rise of Grabinski stepping in as a reserve fighter, knocking out the only person ever to finish, Mate Kurtesh.
The most special moment, I think, has to be the double knockdown. That was incredible, wasn't it? I couldn't believe it.
Christian Junger předvedl s Bojanem Veličkovičem jeden z nezapomenutelných zápasů.
Surviving the choke for over a minute.
I've never seen it before. I don't know how it's physically possible. Stands up, shakes Bojan up, and Bojan falls, and the crowd goes mental.
Wow! Wow! Listen to the crowd!
Lewis Glissman getting the inverted omoplata over MVS.
Which was absolutely outrageous, something I don't think we've ever seen before in mixed martial arts.
Oh, he's rolling for it. Wow! Oh my goodness! He's got it! He's got it! Lewis Glissman with the omoplata finish!
The performances, the people, the fights, the energy, the atmosphere has made the Tipsport Gamechanger something we will never forget. This first season of it has been spectacular.
It completely vitalized the division, and everyone's now talking about the welterweight division.
Tipsport přinesl nejenom větší znalost celoevropského MMA, ale znamená to, že i OKTAGON je teď daleko větším, světovějším brandem a možná i díky tomu jsme byli nominováni na 5 světových cen v nejprestižnějších MMA cenách.
And right now, we are facing a final which will see Bojan Veličković take on Michaelides for their chance to win the title and 300,000 euros.
These two countries will collide in the final fight, but just one can be the winner.
Oh, he's had him! That's it! Oh my goodness!
Tipsport Gamechanger doručil to, co jsme chtěli, ale my nezastavujeme. My chceme s OKTAGONem zase jít o kousek dál.
Tipsport Gamechanger v loňské sezóně doslova změnil evropskou scénu MMA. 16 bojovníků se skutečně porvalo o ten milionový prize pool. Viděli jsme fantastické příběhy, které loňský ročník napsal, které jsme si ostatně my všichni mohli teď společně prožít znovu, ať už to bylo to Grabinského KO nebo Jungwirth minutu bez kyslíku, ale vítěz mohl být jenom jeden, tím se stal Bojan Veličkovič. Letos se ale vracíme s tímto projektem znovu, tentokrát půjdeme do další našlapané váhy, do lehké váhy. Za malou chvíli začínají první osmifinálové zápasy a naše očekávání tím pádem nemůžou být větší.
This very one that we were in a year ago today, it was exhilarating.
And we didn't know what we were facing, right? We sat with anticipation. We heard about the concept at the Octagon Time press conference. We started to see the names slowly come in as far as who would compete from the Octagon roster, who would be brought in from around the world, from the best in Europe, from, you know, big promotions, stepping now into Octagon. And what we got every single time, it was like the touch of gold, right? For, oh, you're going to light me.
Just give you some light. I was not really giving you any effect. I'm trying, but we need a brighter light for next time, Brian. But anyway,
next time. But what we found out is, you know, it over-exceeded expectations. Every single tournament that featured a Tipsport fight turned into something special, right?
Special moments consistently throughout the year. We had every Tipsport Gamechanger night. It brought some sort of special magic. We've only had 2 fights tonight, and they've already been incredible. Can this event deliver like the other ones have delivered? It feels like the magic's with us tonight, Brian. I really feel we have better talent and better matchups, better fights, more intriguing fights than we had last year. Maybe because I did a bit more research,
maybe.
Who knows? But I feel like these fights are really going to be dynamic and have every different angle coming from different sides. So I'm extremely excited for tonight, but they have the pressure on them. Not just of the tournament, not just of the money, not just of that amazing trophy that they can win, but to keep up with what we got last year.
Yeah, that is a fantastic point. But let's go back to a bit of last year. Let's pick out some of your highlights, because from start to finish, we had some incredible fights, incredible finishes. We had new stars born as well. You look at the rise of Jon Surdu. He lost his first match against Bojan Veličković, that double knockdown that everybody around the world witnessed. But he's come back. He'll now fight David Kozma in Eden, and what he has become is a megastar in his own right from this tournament. So, you know, it wasn't just about the fights. The personalities really shone through. The countries got behind their people. But I'm going to ask you, what were your favorite moments, and, you know, what did you take away from year one?
Well, from year one, the number one moment for me, we're going to get it again in 3 weeks, when Christian Jungwirth makes the walkout in Stuttgart and you have the crowd behind him. He became a real superstar. I mean, he already was, but he elevated it through the roof. And that fight with him against Bojan Veličković, when he somehow survived the man choking him on his back and stood up and threw him off his back. Somehow, it was an incredible fight. He lost. And Bojan Veličković went on to win the entire tournament. But that night belonged to Christian Jungwirth. And every time he fights, I'm excited. And we've got him again in 3 weeks in Stuttgart. That, for me, was one of the moments of so many, Brian.
Let's talk about the two finalists, Bojan Veličković and Michailidis. Again, Bojan was, you know, questioning whether he was even going to continue in mixed martial arts. He was ready to start the next chapter of his life, start, you know, the family, concentrate on building the businesses that he's got over there, now based in Colorado. Michailidis as well, coming out of the UFC, and, you know, everybody kind of put that mark on, as many times they do. Once you're out of the UFC, you're done, that's it. But both of these were not just motivated by the money, which is obviously a huge amount of money, but re-establishing their legacies, and through different paths up different sides of the bracket, they climbed to the top, and they delivered us the two most worthy finalists, right?
Without a doubt, and I think Michailidis kind of came out of nowhere, because although he was so highly ranked, and he wasn't known about on the Octagon stage, and like you said, coming out of the UFC, there was questions to be, you know, asked of him. And he fought Apollo, I believe, in the first fight, and it wasn't the most amazing fight. Apollo does that to people. He makes them seem a bit awkward. He kind of sneaked through it and got the victory, and no one was really talking about Michailidis, and he just won consistently. And I personally, when I heard the story about Bojan Veličković, I thought the fire was dead in him. I didn't think he had it, and everyone was questioning that as well, and he delivered every single time. Every single fight he had was just a showstopper, and then going on to win it the way he did, it was truly incredible to be a part of it.
Can I offer you some coffee, Luke Barnett?
I'll have a double.
We'll have a double coffee. There we go. Why not? We've got no lights, but we do have caffeine. Thank you so much. Welcome to the TV show. Yeah.
But no, that for me was an incredible time, an incredible moment, and I wonder who the dark horse is going to be this year, because for me, Bojan Veličković, although he was so highly, he was the dark horse. I didn't expect him to do what he did. We have bigger names this year, in my eyes, than we had last year. You know, so who's the dark horse, Brian? Who do you look at in this tournament and think, maybe he can do it?
There are so many. I think what you've said as far as building that up to the question is what this second season has brought, because people even outside didn't know what they were stepping into. Now people are queuing up. I was speaking to the matchmaker, to Andrei Novotny, and they had a list of names as long as the very long arms of Andrei Novotny, wanting to be part of the second season of this thing. And when you look at, for me, the names that have come into it, Americani coming back, people like that, Machaev, who he'll face. But then you look at the big names, Legursky, Paradisa, all these guys. We have got one hell of a season ahead of us. Let's get excited about it right now.
I've been lifting weights put off shoulders, my space a vital component. I've been schooling my thoughts and I'm done with the lectures. I'm authentic and unapologetic, I've got stress and everything to go up against. I got a death wish, I'm restless. Don't think about the trenches, suspense your cardiac arrest this. And when the heart get a soul and the step and get the beat into the path on the road, and there really isn't a way to pass any fold, I show 'em.
So there is our main card. There is our main card of the evening. And we're now about to set it off. What a lineup we have got. Again, we're going to kick off with Nafuka versus Bogdanovic, Grabinski versus Duque, #1 in Spain, taking on a man who's held multiple titles in Germany, Legerski, the first ever Octagon lightweight champion. The rematch against Matusz Kohut. Torres, the guy who is ranked the highest in the rankings in this lightweight bracket, will take on Lengal, stepping up from featherweight, but looking to establish himself as a legend in MMA in this tournament. And then speaking of legends in MMA, Amir Khani, Mr. Finland, takes on the beast, Makayev. That is a fight that we spoke lots about this morning. And then Paradisa, the current lightweight champion, will take on Attila Korkmaz. And then just to top it off, if that isn't enough, we have the middleweight unification bout with Kinsel versus Vavazhiniak. Luke, just look at what we have in front of us. Many have said to me, many have reached out and said this is by far the best card Octagon have ever put on. It's hard not to argue it, right?
Hard to argue that with the talent in front of us, and